Hi, my beautiful people. I was talking with a friend the other day, and I really wanted to share these thoughts with you guys as well so that you guys can also have the inside scoop and the light bulb that totally went off in my brain. I'm sure many of you have heard about codependent behaviors, codependent relationships. And at the crux of that, when I talk about that with my clients or in my work, it's really essentially an imbalanced relationship, one that is two people that are essentially, as a way of talking about, leaning on each other and no longer upright and standing in their own individuality, their individual sovereign personal power. There is something happening dynamically where one person or the other is giving up certain things in order to feel like they have a more comfortable, easier life, to be able to navigate certain things that once maybe were challenging, but maybe seem less challenging now because they have this other person to lean on, whatever the story may be. The highlight, the light bulb that came up is codependent behaviors are imbalanced relationships and unbalanced relationship because at the core of it, it stirs up so many unhealthy, maladaptive behaviors. And two big ones are controlling behaviors and manipulative behaviors. That can look overtly controlling, like you can't leave the house on the weekends to go see girlfriends or your guy friends because this is what we need to be doing together. And the controlling can have a very isolating effect. The manipulation can be so many permutations and nuances as you guys can think of ways that people get manipulated, including ourselves. And as we talk about those two big things, I want you to consider, as I guess you could say, a way out. But I say that kind of tongue in cheek because usually in codependent behaviors, unless you are actively wanting and choosing to have a way out, if you are not literally training yourself in a practice to individuate yourself, the leaving really is just a lot of noise. You can make so much noise, storming, screaming, yelling, and that garners into abusive behaviors, verbally, emotionally, and physical, and maybe even other stuff too. That it just is a lot of noise and stamping around. But at the end of the day, nothing changes and no one leaves, which is that part of that abusive cycle as well, right? So if this is your training and your practice and truly you want a way out, this is something I propose to you and suggest and offer. And I say it as a proposal because it's essentially not easy. I just say it from the get-go. It's like the black box warning. It's like, yes, you want freedom, you want the way out, you want the greener pastures on the other side, you absolutely can have it. Anyone can. Anyone can. That is the most awesome, amazing, powerful, most empowering statement there is. Anyone can have that. Are you willing? The question is, are you willing to sacrifice and lose and give up and potentially have loss and grief and have all your vulnerabilities and insecurities poked at? Are you willing to go through all that in order to get to that freedom on the other side? Freedom, if it was such an easy price to pay, everyone would have that, would they not? So the two pieces I want to focus on, just to kind of keeping it simple, is healthy contrary actions. And the other piece is really building and rebuilding your own self-trust. So these two pieces, even though they're simple, they have a lot of pieces underneath them to hold up that piece. Healthy contrary action, some of you might have heard that before. It sounds like what it is. It's like when you feel inwardly, intuitively called to do something that would be healthy for you, but our fears, our ego, our insecurities, our vulnerabilities holds us back and we maybe waffle about it. We're just indecisive. You're like, oh, I'm not sure. You just kind of ruminate and think about it, but actually, no action gets taken. So, the healthy contrary action is you recognize it's maybe something you're uncomfortable, it's outside of your comfort zone. Maybe it's a little bit scary, it triggers a little bit fear, a little anxiety, a little unknown, right? But that fear and anxiety is not based in danger, just clear statement on that. That it just your triggers something that's uncomfortable within yourself because it's never been done before or it's new. That the healthy contrary action is to then follow through and actually go do it and then see what happens. And you do that over and over and over again. There's never an end date, a finish line of when you stop doing healthy contrary actions. Because I would say, and I say this all the time to all my clients in my work, is my life is as good as it is because of the healthy contrary actions I do and continue to do on a daily basis. It's like, oh, I don't really want to do my chores, clean the house. The healthy contrary actions, go do it within whatever the time frame you have slotted for yourself to do it. Oh, I don't really want to make that physical examination appointment with a doctor or the dental appointment because I have this and this and this coming up. And these avoidant tendencies we recognize within ourselves is not actually helping us and keeping us healthy, that we take the healthy contrary action and you do it. And it's simple, but it's easier said sometimes than done. Just like when you want to exercise and get healthier, it's like, okay, time to go for a walk or run or the gym. And you're like, oh gosh, I don't want to. And you just want to sit on the couch. And maybe you do sit on the couch. The healthy contrary action is putting on the shoes, getting that gym bag. The next healthy contrary action, because it has to follow another one, right, is get in the car, drive to the gym. Next healthy contrary action is go inside the gym, get on one of the machines, or do whatever your routine is at the gym. Or maybe it's just put on those shoes, walking shoes, so that you can go out the door and start walking. And you go down the block. And the next healthy contrary action is like, okay, let me go a little bit further and go around the park, right? So that's a core component with really helping to break some of the unhealthy dynamics within codependent behaviors is healthy contrary actions. And that takes a lot of self-honesty. That's the other piece that you start to, if you're doing your own personal practice, wherever you are on that personal practice, the self-honesty piece is so key. It sounds maybe ruthless at times, but ruthless honesty is not abusive. I just want to be very clear. It's not verbally, emotionally abusive or negative self-talk to yourself. That's not it at all. Ruthless self-honesty is looking at your own shit and be like, oh, that's my shit. I better go clean it up, right? Like if you have pets or you have any fur babies, you're like, oh, that's my dog shit. I gotta go clean it up. Amongst the whole other dog park of dog poop, you recognize that's yours. It's stinky, it's smelly, it looks a certain way, and you recognize, oh, well, that's because I ate this, this, and this, or my dog ate this and this, this. This is why it looks that way, and now I need to go take care of it. That's ruthless self-honesty. It doesn't necessarily look pretty, but it's absolutely not negative self-talk or verbally, emotionally abusive back to yourself. I want to clarify that piece too. The other piece is building self-trust. This building of self-trust is when we start in a place where we are in and steeped in codependent relationships and behaviors, self-trust looks like, I think initially, like, oh, I'm gonna look to the other person, like, babe, honey, mom, dad, caregiver, whoever that codependent relationship is like, I'm gonna look to you and you tell me, should I do this? Should I not do this? What do you think? Is that a good idea? And that actually does not further cultivate self-trust. That enables and engenders this further cycling of the codependent behaviors and relationship. So self-trust really is quieting ourselves and sitting with ourselves. And I think that's why it's such a beautiful practice when we can sit. For me, it was meditation, and it still is, to be able to sit and be with myself and have that moment of quiet and stillness and peace, to hear what it is that my inner highest, brightest self wanted or needed. And those nudges are always happening. So if you're like, oh, I don't have this inner intuitive, I'm telling you, it's there. It's probably just been so stomped on, covered up, right? And quieted down that we're like, oh, it's not even there anymore. But once we take the time to just sit with, those layers start to uncover, right? And that inner voice, the intuitive self that knows, that is the innate Buddha nature, God source, whatever you want to call it, it starts speaking more and more and more. It always is speaking, but when we start to listen, it starts not only speaking more and more and more, it maybe speaks a little bit louder because we start to build this relationship with it. And it looks like in the external, tangible world, you're going about your day and you remember, oh, earlier in the morning when I sat and did my practice, I had that nudge that I really should be calling this person. I should really reach out to this person. Or I really should send my resume to this person that I wasn't even thinking about, but I guess I should since I'm looking for work right now. And you follow those little nudges like a scavenger hunt and you just do it. You don't think beyond that act. You don't future trip about it. What are they going to say? Wow, I haven't heard from you in 10 years. Who do you think you are? You don't stress and worry about that because that's just the ego and the noise in the monkey mind just spinning around. So you just do that act and then you let it go. And that inherently is the acts of self-trust that you start building within yourself. You don't do one and you stop and you're like, okay, where's the miracle? It's like you don't buy one lottery ticket and you're like, where's my lottery? You keep feeding into this new system, this new ecosystem and dynamic, because that in itself generates and fuels something. It has an energy, starts to create some momentum. When you do these consistent acts of self-trust, you recognize later on, usually it's hindsight 2020, you're like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better because I did XYZ and I listened to myself. Or, oh my gosh, look at that amazing response. And holy cow, what a cool collaborative opportunity that is possible now because I reached out to that person that I wasn't even thinking about, but my intuitive inner self gave me that guidance. And that's essentially what's the core component of going back to the codependent behaviors and relationships, because there is an ecosystem that is happening there that works itself upon itself in order to survive. And that survival is not inherently evil, right? Or malicious. I think sometimes it happens to be that way as just a side effect of the unhealthy, imbalanced system and relationship dynamic that's happening there. But when you start infusing these pieces of healthy contrary action and also start building this aspect of inner self trust, checking in with yourself, checking in with your higher power, higher self, whoever that is, that entity that you call is your higher power that you recognize, to build that relationship there, to be able to listen. And here's the thing, it's not going to be 100% perfect. It's not meant to be, because that's how trust is built. You learn and grow through trial and error, and you realize, oh, I was listening to that voice today. I don't know. Was that actually my intuition, my inner self, like trust? Or was it just a really loud ego voice? Or was it the voice in the tape, old tape of somebody in my head telling me, beating it down into you, like, this is how it should be? No, it doesn't have to be that way. And I would say that is the component around how trust is built. You test things out. If there is actually a tape that is running your head, and if you feel like maybe it's good or maybe it's not, you're not sure, test it out. This is the beautiful thing. Like when you have trial and error and you have the historical data points after a result of something, that result doesn't lie. Just as I say, behaviors don't lie. Words, people can talk great talk, they can have wonderful intentions, their heart can be in the right place, their head could be in a good place, whatever it is. but their behaviors, that is actual data points on a data map, doesn't lie. And if, even though they have a good heart and they mean well all the time, on the data, it shows that behavior has consistently demonstrated lies, manipulation, or this inherent control and this, that, and the other that is not supportive of your healthy well-being. You recognize, oh, okay, I can maybe trust myself a little bit more when I had that feeling in my gut and I was like, that thing's off. And you don't always, here's the thing, you don't always get the answer right away. You don't go up to like a little dispenser and you're like, oh, black or white. I'm gonna choose white today. And it's like ding ding ding, like in Vegas when things go off. And you're like, you won the lottery. That's exactly the right choice. That's not always how it works, where it's that instantaneous gratification or instantaneous feedback. Sometimes the feedback loop takes a little bit longer. Maybe it's a week out, maybe it's a couple months out. But the thing of it is that feedback will absolutely come back to you. So again, don't give up 5 minutes before the miracle happens. Keep going. And this is part of the trust piece, is it starts with faith, right? So you do it, you take that step, and you're like, I don't think there's a step in front of me. I'm going to put my foot down. I think I feel something. Maybe I'm going to step on it, right? And maybe that foundation is something that you can build and grow upon and make a cornerstone, a healthy cornerstone in your life, in your relationship dynamic that you can then filter out into more greater, expansive surface area. Because essentially, when you start to break down the imbalanced codependent behavior and dynamics, what happens is you're essentially coming from this space to be able to write yourself into your own identity, your own sovereignty, and your own being. And that is so wonderful. And sometimes you're like, oh, what a bummer, because now if I make a choice that's unhealthy and I fall on my face, well, it's all because of me. And you have to take responsibility for that. But that, I feel like, is a small price to pay, because it's feedback for you to go, oh, I fell on my face. I messed up. No need to beat ourselves up. Thank you. Thank you for showing me spirit, God, eternity, so that I can make a different choice. And I have the freedom to make the other different choice. That freedom itself, please do not mistake. That freedom itself is the priceless prize that we gain. That can look like accountability and taking responsibility, that looks very serious. And you're like, oh man, now I got to do it all by myself. Let's not miss the bigger picture. That's a small fraction. Yes, you take responsibility and accountability for your behaviors, actions, and choices. But the beautiful thing is you have the freedom to do so, and the freedom of infinite possibilities ahead of you, in front of you. There's no constriction, restriction. There's no control. There's no limitations being placed on you. And if you are ready for that, it is worth it. Let me just tell you, for me, coming from one side to the other side, I tell you, it's worth it. You can do it if I can do it. It does take work, so I'm not going to lie about that. Be ready for it, but it is fucking worth it. It's so worth it that you'll be on the other side and you're like, damn, my life is so good. I'm so grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you will feel that to the deepest part of the core of your being, cellular level. And on that cellular level, when you're saying thank you, you recognize to the core of your being that it was worth it. And you would not change a thing, right? You won't change a thing. I promise you that. So I wish you the most amazing journey ahead. Lots of courage, lots of self-trust, awesome, healthy, safe, contrary actions to break free and transition and transform and transmute what it is you want to, in order to be that butterfly, floating around in the open field of amazing flowers, just free, happy, spacious, joyful, and free. I love you guys so much.